Good morning, students. Already half of the chapter we have discussed already of this carbon and its compounds, chapter 4 of class 10. So I'll discuss now the rest of the remaining topics of this same chapter. We have discussed up to the homologous series, and there we understood that how the what is homologous series, properties of homologous series. Also we have discussed about the functional groups and these types of chain formed by these carbon compounds. What is carbon, what are the compounds forming, covalent compounds are forming, and name of the compound, structure of the compound, how to draw the structure, how to name the structure, nomenclature of the compound. Now we will discuss about some properties, chemical properties of these carbon compounds. Chemical properties of some chemical properties of carbon compounds. Number 1, combustion. Number 1, combustion. Combustion, that means these carbon compounds reacting with, how these carbon compounds reacting with this oxygen, and what are the product forming. For example, if this carbon react with oxygen, then carbon dioxide and heat is generated. Like this methane, we know that in the fossil fuel methane present, in other fuel also methane is a compound present. So when methane burns, that means methane reacting with oxygen. CH4 is the chemical formula of methane reacting with oxygen. Then it forms carbon dioxide and water plus heat. That heat which is generated, or the energy which is generated, that is utilized by the vehicle or the other things, and that runs. And this, we know that when the fossil fuels burns, this carbon dioxide is produced. How this carbon dioxide is produced? In this methane, this organic compounds, these carbon compounds are reacting, and there is burning with the oxygen, then forming this. So this is the combustion property. Next, number 2, oxidation. Oxidation, that means addition of oxygen. We can say simply that addition of oxygen. So what happens when oxygen is added? Suppose ethanol, CH3 CH2OH, in presence of alkaline potassium permanganate plus heat, alkaline KMnO4 plus heat. When this oxygen is added, then it forms CH3COOH. CH3COOH, that means ethanoic acid. So ethanol to ethanoic acid in presence of this alkaline KMnO4. Here oxygen is added. You see here 1 oxygen, here 2 oxygen. So there oxygen is added. So this is addition of oxygen. That's why it is called a reaction of oxidation. So this is the oxidation property. And the next, addition reaction. Addition reaction, there hydrogen is added. Hydrogen is added when unsaturated hydrocarbons heated. When an unsaturated hydrocarbons is heated in presence of the nickel catalyst and hydrogen is added with that, it forms a saturated hydrocarbon. For example, ethene, suppose CH2 double bond CH2. In presence of nickel catalyst, when two hydrogen is added, then it forms CH3 single bond CH3. That means it is ethene. This is ethane. This is unsaturated. This one saturated. That means in addition reaction, that means one hydrogen is added with this, one hydrogen is added with this, and another hydrogen added with this. So here becomes CH3, here becomes CH3. In place of double bond, it becomes single bond. So ethene becomes ethane, ENE becomes ANE, unsaturated becomes saturated. So this is addition reaction. That is how the hydrogen is added. Next, substitution reaction. Substitution reaction. In this substitution reaction, suppose methane is taken and chlorine is added in presence of sunlight. In presence of sunlight with methane, chlorine is added. Then in methane, there are 4 hydrogens are there. So replacing one hydrogen, if one chlorine is added, then what happens? Let's see. It becomes replacing one hydrogen. That means one hydrogen is replaced by chlorine. But there will be 3 hydrogens. So CH3, Cl, and there one hydrogen comes back and we combine with Cl, it becomes HCl. So like this, if it is continued, CH3, Cl, again chlorine, if it is added in presence of sunlight, then it will be CH2, Cl2 plus HCl. Then again same way CH2, Cl2 plus Cl2, it becomes CH, Cl3 plus HCl. Then CH, Cl3 plus Cl2, then it will become CCl4 plus HCl. So this is substitution reaction. That means one hydrogen is substituted by one chlorine atom. One hydrogen atom is substituted by one chlorine atom and forms this. So ultimately, if we continuously if we substitute one hydrogen by one chlorine atom, then ultimately we will get carbon tetrachloride. So this is substitution reaction. So this is about the properties of some carbon compounds. Now if we discuss about some element, we will discuss about the 2 elements which are very important element in our syllabus, whatever they are out of this given in the given topic in the syllabus. Out of this, if we discuss then 2 elements, about the 2 elements we will discuss. One of the element is ethanol. One of the element is ethanol. It is liquid at room temperature. We know that its common name of the ethanol is alcohol. The alcohol, about the alcohol, most of you are well known about this. So common name is alcohol. It is used in the medicine, cough syrup, then tincture of iodine. So in medical science mostly it is used. And this CH3, CH2OH, CH3, CH2OH. This is the chemical formula of ethanol. If it is in presence of sulfuric acid, if it is concentrated, that is heat is provided, hot concentration is provided in presence of sulfuric acid, then it becomes that means if ethanol is in presence of hot concentration, in presence of sulfuric acid, if it is heated, then it becomes ethene with the production of some water. So this is about the ethanol. So the chemical formula of ethanol is CH3CH2OH. Next, another one is ethanoic acid. ethanoic acid, that means CH3COOH. CH3COOH, ethanoic acid. This is one type of acid with less concentration. When this ethanoic acid mixed in water, that means ethanoic acid with water, it is called vinegar. About the vinegar, you are well known, which is used to for storing pickle. So vinegar is used in everybody's house. The vinegar almost available. So vinegar actually means this ethanoic acid in water. This is ethanoic acid in water. This is called vinegar. So CH3COOH. Now this ethanoic acid CH3COOH, this ethanoic acid CH3COOH, this is ethanoic acid. If it is added with the ethanol, that means CH3CH2OH. If this ethanoic acid, this is ethanoic acid, is added with ethanol. This ethanoic acid is added with ethanol, then it forms CH3COO CH3COO CH2CH3. That means ethanoic acid is added with ethanol. You see CH3COO. This CH3COO, easy to remember. This CH3COO, and from there CH3CH2, and this hydrogen and OH, this together H2O. This hydrogen and OH, if we separately add, then OH plus hydrogen is water, and remaining directly add is easy to remember. CH3COO, then CH2CH3, CH3COO, then CH2CH3. So this is ester, and the process of formation of this ester is called esterification. The process of formation of this ester, that means addition of ethanoic acid with ethanol, this process, how to form this ester, this is called esterification. And how to remember this? This CH3COO is directly adding with CH2CH3. CH3COO, CH2CH3. This hydrogen and this OH separately added, water form. So this is called esterification. This process is, what is ester? Ester is a substance having sweet smell, used in perfumes, used in some sorts of sweets, used in ice creams for the sweet smell, and having the sweet smell in perfumes, in deodorant. This is used. This is ester. So questions are coming. What is ester? How ester is forming? And what do you mean by esterification? So this is the definition. Esterification is the process of addition, and how this ester is forming, this is the way how it is forming. And properties of ester, as I told, so having sweet smell, and it is used, what are the uses? It is used in the ice cream, it is used in perfume, it is used in some sorts of sweets. So they are the uses of ester. Now this again if we use if we add this ester, if we on treating with sodium hydroxide, ester on treating with sodium hydroxide, this ester is converted back again into alcohol and the sodium salt of carboxylic acid. This ester, this ethanoic acid, ethanol, CH3COOH, this is ethanoic acid. This ethanoic acid and ethanol combine together form this ester. Now this ester, again if we treat with sodium hydroxide, that means this ester reacting with sodium hydroxide, then again it will form alcohol, that means ethanol, alcohol, and plus sodium salt of sodium salt of this carboxylic acid, and that process is known as saponification. That process is known as saponification, which is used in the preparation of soap. Saponification is the process used in the preparation of soap. That means formation of ester, the process of formation of ester is esterification, and again getting the ethanol and ethanoic acid again from ester, this reverse process of getting the compound from ester by addition of sodium hydroxide, that process is called saponification. Now we will discuss this, how the soap is formed. For the formation of soap, number one, soap or detergent, you can say soap or detergent, vegetable oil or animal fat. These are the ingredients required. Solid sodium hydroxide, number 3, common salt, and number 4, water. So, vegetable oil or animal fat, solid sodium hydroxide, that means caustic soda, common salt and water. These are the ingredients required to prepare soap or detergent. To make soap, that is bathing soap, vegetable oil will be used. To make detergent, animal fat will be used. So, this is the difference between the bathing soap and the detergent. To make the detergent, animal fat, and to make bathing soap, for us, vegetable oil. Remaining things same. So, what to do? This solid sodium hydroxide is taken in a beaker, and some amount of water is added with this solid sodium hydroxide and this caustic soda plus water, and thoroughly mixing. After thoroughly mixing, let us leave it for one day and let us watch. After that, we will use either vegetable oil or animal fat. Let us use vegetable oil. This vegetable oil will be mixed with this caustic soda, this is the mixture, and thoroughly it will be mixed, and slight amount of common salt will be added with that mixture, and that will be left. Also water will be used, and that will be left for few days, and after that few days our soap is ready to prepare. So, these are the ingredients required, and how to make the soap. Again I am telling, first caustic soda is taken and water is mixed with that thoroughly, and let us keep it for one day, and after that vegetable oil is mixed with that caustic soda, and later some common salt is mixed and water also mixed, and thoroughly it has to be mixed, and that will be kept for many days, almost 30 days, and after that 20 to 30 days we will get our soap. These are the basic things required to prepare a soap. Now, after at that time of preparation of soap, anybody can use this for the smell, other things, for the different types of smell, for different things, that can also be used, and for color also, different pigment also can be used. Now, after that, let us discuss how this soap work. We know that if our hand is oily, then just if we wash by plain water, that oil cannot be removed, but if we use soap, that easily that can be, oily things can be removed easily. But how it is possible, that has to be understood from our discussion. Now, soap having two ends. So, there are the two ends, one is hydrophilic, another is hydrophobic. This one is hydrophilic and this one is hydrophobic. One is hydrophilic, another is hydrophobic. Hydrophilic, that is dissolves in water. This one dissolves in water. And this one dissolves in organic solvent. So this is altogether called, this is a micelle of soap. When soap is added to water, these are the micelles are forming. In every micelles, these are the structure forming. Here the dirty point, this is the dirty point of this. Suppose our cloth, the dirty point is there. So this part of the soap micelle dissolves in water, but this part of the soap does not dissolve in water. This dissolves in organic solvent. So here the dirty part, that means the oily substance there, the dirt is there, that part is dissolving by this part of the soap, this part of the micelle, and after dissolving, this part of the soap, that is hydrophilic part of the soap, is taken out. So we have to, when these dirty things are dissolving in the hydrophobic part, then after that we have to rinse the cloth, and then this part of the soap is taking out. So that's why it becomes easy for the soap to clean the these oily things and the dirt things. And the soap micelles are large enough to scatter light, and for that reason this soap solution appears cloudy. And we have to understand these two parts. This is togetherly micelles, and one is hydrophilic, another is hydrophobic. So this hydrophobic part dissolves in oily substance and the dirt substance. So when this dirt or the oily substance are dissolving in this part, then it becomes loosen enough, and this dissolves in water. This part is taking this one when we will rinse it. So this is the actions of soap, and if I think you understand better that how this soap works, and action of soap or detergent. So this way soap or detergent works, and it becomes easy to remove the dirt, or it becomes easy to remove the oily things from our hand, from our cloth, from many things. So this is all about the chapter, and this was my last topic of this chapter. This is the end of the chapter. I wish that you understand the whole chapter. If then also anything required to ask, you can call me at night from 8 p.m. to within 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and you can discuss directly with me the topic, whatever topic you have the doubt, you may ask directly to me. And I wish, if you go through the textbook or any other book, and if you follow my discussion, then thoroughly you can understand the whole chapter. I have discussed almost everything, and at last I want to tell that you go through the exercise question, try to answer all the question, and I wish you can answer all the question. Thank you.